Welcome to the second video in the Foreign Language Smart Start, helping you get started learning your first words and phrases in a foreign language. In the first video, we talked about pocket phrases, which are 6 phrases that everyone should learn first, no matter who they are or what language that they're learning. In this video, we're going to talk about learning the next phrases using habitat language. So let's get started. What is habitat language? Well, basically, it's using the specific environment in which you live to help build vocabulary that is relevant to you. So the idea here is to focus on the related items to you in your life and avoid those items that are unrelated. And I think the question, what words and phrases should I learn first, can be answered by asking another question. Let me answer that by asking you this. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? All you Brian Regan fans out there, get holla! And that is, what words and phrases are you already using? If you learn words and phrases in the foreign language that you're already using in your own language, then it's going to be much easier to practice them on a regular basis throughout your day. It's also going to be much easier to remember them and retain them in your mind. So if you survey your habitat and the things in it, you're going to start to see the kinds of things that you say already on a regular basis. So first, let's define what our habitat is. So your habitat is wherever you spend most of your time. So for example, the home, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom or dad, or maybe you own your own online business and you can work from home. This would be an example of your habitat. The office, of course, if you have a 9-to-5 job and you go into the office, or it doesn't have to be the office, it could be, any sort of workplace that you have to go into. It could be school. Maybe you're taking classes. Maybe you're a full-time student, and so most of your time is spent on school grounds. Now, this is going to be different for everyone. What may be relevant for me may not be relevant for you, and you're just going to have to take a look at your specific habitat and where you spend most of your time. And so when you do that, there are 2 things that you can do to survey your habitat. So let's take the home, for example. The first thing is take a look at your immediate surroundings. So we've got TV, table, couch, picture, lamp, and maybe not in here, but maybe in the home, you could also have purse, wallet, toothbrush, comb, glasses, shoes, etc. This is the vocabulary you're going to want to find and focus on if it is a part of your daily routine. The second thing you can do is to notice frequent phrases that you say throughout the day. So things like, what time is it? What's the weather today? I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I have to go to the bathroom. Okay, so next, let's take the office. Immediate surroundings could be desk, chair, computer, mouse, paper, book, planner, shelves. And if you work with other people, you probably will have coworkers, bosses. Maybe you work on some reports or projects, and these are a part of your immediate surroundings. Some frequent phrases. When is our meeting? Did you get my email? I will be early or late. And I have to print something. School. Immediate surroundings. Desk, chair, clock, door, chalkboard, whiteboard. And if you are not taking classes online, of course, you have teacher, student, homework, backpack, pencil. Well, I guess you have a teacher even if you are taking classes online, but you know what I mean. Some frequent phrases are, when does class start? And did you finish your homework? Can I borrow a pencil? I love my Spanish class. Now, of course, you don't have to learn these particular phrases, but the point is, your own habitat, the things that you encounter on a day-to-day basis. So you're probably thinking, well, of course, Justin, duh. This is what language learners do all the time, is that they focus on the things that they're already saying. Well, yes and no. The key here is frequency. How frequently do you say something, or how frequently do you see these items in your habitat? So let me give you some examples of maybe some irrelevant vocabulary. So going back to the home, here are some examples of what might be irrelevant for you to learn, at least at first. Greetings, hi, hello, my name is, nice to meet you. And of course, maybe you do live with other people and you do say hi to them on a regular basis. That's fine, but I'm more talking about introductions. So, like, nice to meet you, what's your name? My name is, things like that. Same thing with nations. I'm from Korea, I'm from the USA. Where are you from? I'm from Spain, I'm from France. Um, so, you're probably not going to be saying a lot of this if the home is your habitat. Animals, especially zoo animals. Oh, and unless you work at a zoo, which I have some friends that work at a zoo, you're probably not going to be saying giraffe, panda, hippo, monkey in a lot of your day-to-day life. Exceptions are probably if you have children, of course, and then you might have these stuffed animals. But on a general scale at the home, you're probably not going to be saying these things. And I would go so far as to say that even cat or dog you don't say very often. Now, you might own a cat or a dog, but you probably haven't named your cat cat and your dog dog. Um, or maybe you have, and then this would be relevant to you. But you probably named it something different, and so therefore you call it something different, so that therefore you're not using the word cat and dog very often. Or maybe they've named their dog dog and or their cat dog and their dog cat. Who knows? Certain actions that might be common in general, but they're not frequently used. Uh, Run, jump, catch, throw. Now, I don't run because I'm not a runner. And I don't remember even the last time it was that I jumped. And so this isn't really a part of my daily life. Catch and throw. I mean, I guess if I was a baseball player, maybe I would do more of this. So there are a lot of language books and resources that might start with these kinds of things. But my point is that if your habitat is your home, then these things aren't going to be cropping up as frequently for you to be able to really use them in the near future. And of course, there are always exceptions. I'm not saying not to learn these words. I'm just saying that for the first words and phrases that you start with, you might want to start with something that's you see on a day-to-day basis that's a little bit more frequency so that you can use it with a little bit more frequency. So now let's get into jumping in and finding some habitat language. There are two main approaches of habitat language. The first is habitat first. This is where you start with your habitat and then seek out language materials and resources that will help you build vocabulary from your habitat. The second is language first. This is where you maybe are already starting with a book or a course or some sort of language material. Maybe you're taking a class, and then you seek out your habitat to plug into what you're already learning. So, of course, we're going to start with habitat first. All right, so in order to do this, let's take a look at my habitat. Bing! Yes, I spend way too much time in my bedroom. But this is my bedroom, a little rough sketch from looking from the ceiling down. When you approach habitat language using your habitat first, there are 5 basic steps that you can follow. Step 1 is to choose one item and write a sentence about it from your habitat. So I'm going to choose bing, door. And the sentence I'm going to choose is the door is open. Now, this could be any type of sentence. It could be a statement, it could be a question, it could be like, where is the door? Or why is the door open? Or who closed the door? It could be a command, close the door, open the door. It doesn't matter what sentence it is, but if you're just starting out, you might want to keep it simple. So that's step 1. Step 2 is to look it up in the new language. And since I'm learning Spanish currently, I looked this phrase up in Spanish. Bing! La puerta está abierta. Now, you can look it up however you want. Maybe you have a textbook or a grammar book or a dictionary, or maybe online if you just do a quick Google search. But my main suggestion here is to not get bogged down too much with the whys and the hows. Like, why is this way and why does it say this? Just make sure you understand each part in a general sense. You don't have to know how it's used all of the time. You don't have to know why they say certain things. Just keep it simple. The door is open. La puerta está abierta. Okay? And to break it down, la puerta is the door, está is, and abierta is open. As long as I know that, then I can move forward. So, speaking of moving forward, step 3 is to find other items that apply to that sentence in a similar way. So I need to find other things that can be open, such as bing, drawer, window, chest, wallet, laptop, book. All of these things can be open. So that is step 3. Step 4 is then to practice the sentence with all the other items that you found. So we start with the door is open, and then we have the drawer is open, the window is open, the chest is open, the wallet is open, the laptop is open, the book is open. And of course, I'm going to be actually saying these things in Spanish, not in English. So I'll be practicing El libro está abierta. And after all 4 steps are done, step 5 is then to repeat with another sentence. But before we do that, let's review those 5 steps. Step 1, choose one item from your habitat and write a sentence about it. Step 2, look it up in the new language. Step 3, find other items that apply in a similar way. Step 4 is to practice the sentence with the other items. And step 5 is to repeat with another sentence. So let's repeat. Step 1, choose one item and write a sentence. Bing! Please don't sit on my chair. Step 2, look it up in the new language. Por favor, no se siente en mi silla. Step 3, find other items that apply in a similar way. Bing! Step 4, practice the sentence with the other items. Please don't sit on my chair. Por favor, no se siente en mi silla. Por favor, no se siente en mi mesa. Por favor, no se siente en mi cama. Por favor, no se siente en mi escritorio. Por favor, no se siente en mi cofre. Por favor, no se siente en mi cómoda. Por favor, no se siente en mi banco. And, of course, step 5 is then to repeat with another sentence. So now let's see a real live action example of this. All right, so here we are in my room, and I have found an item, and the sentence that I chose for this item is, the marker is blue. So I have a marker, and it's blue, so I chose, the marker is blue. And so I'm going to model all my sentences like that, and I'm going to find other blue things in my room and write and make the sentences out of them. So the marker is blue. I looked it up already. It is el marcador es azul. So el marcador is the marker, and es azul is blue. So la marcador es azul. So first I'm going to start with la marcador. And then I have to think, what is the full sentence? La marcador es azul. Okay, so let's do the next one here. Next blue thing we have it right down here. Okay. We've got a little Bible. So, la Biblia. So, what is the sentence? La Biblia es azul. Okay, what else do we got here? Okay. So, el libro is book. El libro es azul. Next. All right, we have, got to check my list here. La sudadera con capucha. La sudadera con capucha es azul. Okay, next here we've got, all right, we've got la cinta métrica. So that's our word, la cinta métrica. The full sentence is, la cinta métrica es azul. La tapa. La tapa. La tapa es azul. Okay, let's go in here. Due to my bathroom that's actually fairly clean, surprisingly. Alright, so we've got el jabón líquido. So we've got el jabón líquido es azul. See, it is azul. Azul. Blue. Okay. And last one here we've got la
maquinilla de afeitar. La maquinilla de afeitar. Oh, this doesn't have a lid on it. Whoops. I just shaved a little bit there. Here you go. You're welcome. Okay. La maquinilla de afeitar. La maquinilla de afeitar es azul is the full sentence. Okay. So that's about it. That's how you would do it. You go around your room and see, and then I would practice those. And then I would be like, and next time I see my book, I'd be like, oh, el libro es azul. Oh, la sudadera con capucha es azul. Oh, la tapa es azul. So when I see it, then I can, think of the full sentence or try to remember the full sentence, and that's how I would practice. So, yay. That's it.
Okay, so let's look at some of the pros and cons of this approach. The pros are it's a great way to find vocabulary relevant to you, which is exactly why we are doing it. It's a great way to practice while you go about your daily routine. So you actually don't need to have one particular time to practice. You can now practice as you go about your day. You can practice periodically as you go about your habitat. So it doesn't have to be a specific time, okay, now I've got to practice this language. You can also survey your habitat in your own language. And this is where you can see what kind of things that you're saying in your habitat so that you can then choose materials that match your habitat. Which is nice because then if you ever want to know, well, is this book right for me or is this course right for me? Then you can survey your habitat and look at the course or look at the book and say, yes, oh, this matches a lot of what I normally do and say on a regular basis. And if it doesn't, then you can filter it out. So the cons are you will spend more time and energy in research. And this is because you're starting with your habitat and your own language, and then you're looking elsewhere for the translation of what you're already trying to say. So you might have to piece things from different resources. And because of this, it could be more prone to error. So an example of this is for this video, when I was looking up one of the sentences, please don't sit on my chest. I used Google Translate, which is not always the most accurate. In fact, a lot of times it's not. But here's what happened. Now, if you've ever used Google Translate, you know that it's not the most accurate all the time. And this is because it will translate each word and then piece them together. It doesn't do it all the time, but a lot of times it doesn't get it accurate. So in the example of please don't sit on my chest, you can see here it says mi pecho for chest, my chest. But if I just copy this and then I go to Google image search and I paste it here into Google image search and I do a search, it gives me this. Yes. So this is obviously not the chest that I was referring to. And that's what I mean by more prone to error, because you can be piecing information, trying to make pieces fit that don't actually fit together. Okay, so that is the habitat first approach. The next approach is language first. Okay, so language first, of course, you're starting with some sort of language material. And in my case, I am using DIY Spanish, Top 12 Tools for Speaking Spanish by Mark Rea, or Ria. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his name yet. I should. But so this is a great beginner Spanish book. I highly recommend it if you're starting out in Spanish. So there are also 5 steps in language first, and they're fairly similar, but they're slightly different. So let's start with step 1, which is choose a sentence from your materials, because you're starting with your materials, of course. So I'm going to choose this sentence here on page 8, necesito encontrar un banco, which is I need to find a bank. So that's step 1. Step 2 is to look it up in your own language, since you're starting with that language. But if you noticed, I've already done that. I need to find a bank is the English of necesito encontrar un banco. So step 1 and step 2 in the language first approach is actually usually done simultaneously, because both of those things are given to you right up front, which is why you spend less time in research, because everything is just already given to you automatically. So now step 3 is to find items from your habitat to plug in. So let's go back to my trusty bedroom as my habitat. Now, as you can see, I do not have a bank in my bedroom. Yes, technically bench is un banco as well, but it's even though it's the same word, it means bench in this case and not bank. So no bank in my bedroom. But what I can do is instead look for things that I might need to find from my habitat. So, for example, bing, phone, book, radio, keys, wallet, light, cup, door. These are things that I might need to find. So that's step 3. Step 4 is to, of course, just like the first one, practice the sentence with the habitat items. So necesito encontrar el celular, necesito encontrar el libro, necesito encontrar la radio, necesito encontrar las llaves, necesito encontrar la billeta, necesito encontrar la billetera, necesito encontrar la luz, necesito encontrar la taza, and necesito encontrar la puerta. And maybe I need to find the door because maybe I just woke up and it's pitch dark, black outside. Pitch dark or pitch black? I don't know. It's just I can't see is the point. And so I'm like, where's the door? I can't find the door. I need to find the door. Whatever. So at this point, I want to mention something briefly on pronunciation because I know you might be thinking that. And so my suggestion is if the foreign language that you're learning is vastly different from your own, you might want to spend a little bit more time on pronunciation. But if that's the case, then only spend time on the pronunciation of what you're actually trying to say. You don't necessarily need to learn the whole alphabet first or try to pronounce everything perfectly first before you start your habitat language. If your foreign language is closer to maybe what English would be or your native language would be, so for example, mine is Spanish. Spanish and English are fairly similar. I mean, there's a lot of differences, but it's a lot more similar than, say, Chinese. And in that case, you don't need to do as much work with the pronunciation. You're not going to be perfect right at the start, so don't try to be perfect before you start. And so that's kind of my little 2 cents there. On the blog, I'll probably talk a little bit more about pronunciation, but for now, just get the general sense of the meaning, get the general sense of the pronunciation. So let's review the 5 steps again. Step 1, choose a sentence from your materials. Step 2, look it up in your own language. Step 3, find items from your habitat to plug in to the language. Step 4, practice the sentence with the habitat items. And of course, step 5 is to repeat with another sentence. So the pros and cons of this approach are: pros, less time and energy spent in research, as we've seen. You can stick with your favorite language material, or at least the language materials that you're already using. You don't have to then start over with something else in order to learn a habitat language. And this is because you are making language materials more relevant to you. So the cons are, of course, you might be using phrases that are not tailored specifically to your habitat. But in this case, what you can do is you can be creative with it. So for example, from DIY Spanish, on page 8, it also has this phrase, can you walk to the pyramids? Now, of course, this does not apply to me in my situation or my habitat at all. But in this situation, what you can do is be creative with it. For example, when I was learning this phrase, I actually had a back injury where it was excruciating. I was in pain, is what I'm trying to say. I couldn't walk, I couldn't stand, I couldn't sit, I could put any pressure on my lower back. Otherwise, it was just too painful. So I'd have to be hunched over something. Anyway, the point is, as I was recovering, and as I was able to walk and walk further distances, I could actually practice this phrase. Can you walk to the bathroom? Can you walk to the kitchen? Can you walk to the basement? And so I would ask myself that in Spanish, and then I would answer it in Spanish once I walked to that place. And even if you could even be more creative by changing walk to drive. So you'd be like, can you drive to the bathroom? Can you drive to the kitchen? If you wanted to practice the word drive. And then maybe you could take a little Hot Wheels car or whatever and then drive to each of the locations in your home. So this is just an example of being creative and being fun with it. So that is it. Those are the 2 approaches of habitat language. Habitat first and language first. So I hope you can see as you start learning habitat language, you can very quickly start building a solid foundation of language and words and phrases that are related to you in your daily life. So my suggestion for thorough practice of your habitat language is to create at least 10 variations of each sentence that you're learning. So, for example, the door is open, the window is open, the laptop, the chest, the drawer. So 10 items that can be open. And this is because it allows your mind to get used to the language without being completely repetitive. So you're not saying the door is open, the door is open, the door is open, the door is open, and then it's just way too repetitive. You're actually changing it up a bit and keeping your mind engaged, but it's a thorough practice of the sentence. Your mind is getting used to the feel and the flow of how things are said. So here's some more examples. Where is my wallet? Where is my key? Where is my shirt? Where's my shoe, etc.? It's on the desk. It's on the bench. It's on the floor. It's on the table. It's on the chair, etc., etc. That is the gist of habitat language. So you got your pocket phrases and now your habitat language that you can start building a solid, relevant basis for vocabulary to learn, for learning something in a foreign language. So in the next video, I'm going to actually share some advanced practicing techniques that you can use with your habitat language to give you some good, solid practice. So see you there. Boop. Welcome to the second video of the Foreign Language Smart Start, helping you get started learning your first words and phrases in a foreign language. In foreign language? Boop. Welcome to the foreign language. Boop. Welcome to the foreign language. Dang it. Boop. Avoid the unrelated stuff. So if you welcome to the second video in these foreign. Welcome to the second video in the Foreign Language Smart Start, helping you get started learning your first. Wah, wah, wah. I feel like I have to burp. Can somebody burp me? Can you burp me? I can't burp. I can't make myself burp, but I feel like I have to. That's really attractive, I know. You're welcome. Boop. Which are 6 phrases that everyone should learn first, no matter who they are or what language that they're learning. Boop. Can you hear that plane going by? I don't know. I can hear it. Come on. Yep. Oh, look at there's deer out there. Just resting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At least 6. At least 5 or 6. All huddled together. Oh, that's nice. I'm glad they're not scared by me. Anyway, boop. If you learn words in the foreign language that you're already boop. What are they doing in an air raid? Oh, they might be practicing for the air show, if there's an air show this year. Boop. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna go around my room and find things that are blue. Actually, that's not what I'm gonna say. Boop. So here we are in my room, and boop. So here we are in my room. Boop. So here we are in my bedroom, and I'm gonna find something and write a sentence about it. So I'm gonna, step 1 is to find one sentence. Why find one sentence? No, not find one sentence. Boop. Okay, so here I am in my bedroom, and step 1, boop. Marker. Boop. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. The camera's right there. I'm looking at myself right there. Boop. What? Done! Done? Done? Are we done? I don't know. I'm gonna have to do it again. I'm gonna have to do it 10 times. Whatever. I don't know. I've done it like 50 million times. It's been like 6 months. I don't know. I don't know. Why? What? Where are we? Where are we? Where am I? I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. How many times can I say I don't know? Boop. I think I'm going crazy. Going is probably not the right word. Gone!